Hi, and a very pleasant good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Columbus Sports Corner. Tonight, we have the Columbus North Bulldogs, and we're going to be talking with head coach Tim Bless of the football team, and we're also going to get a chance to talk about some of the other sports as we go on this evening. We're here at Bachetto's Smiling Teeth, downtown Columbus. Glad you're joining us. Dino?
Hey, what's up?
We all right here?
You'll never see me, but I'm here.
Dean O'Neill, producer of this show. I'm Ted Rutan, and we are joined by head coach Tim Bless. Tim, thanks for coming down. You guys have had a decent start to the season, but it looks like you've got 3 games to try to wrap it up with and make yourselves 6-3.
Well, that's the hope, obviously, and thanks for having me, Ted and Dean. Happy to be here and represent Columbus North football and Bulldog Nation.
You guys had a tough schedule this year. Jeff Hester made it a little difficult for you. You had Avon right off the bat and Guerin Catholic. I mean, this has been a tough schedule for you.
It has. You know, you play the number 1 team in the state week 1 at Lucas Oil Stadium, and, you know, that's a tough way to get it going. But fortunately, we were able to rebound week 2 in the huge rivalry game, and it's kind of been an up and down or kind of a back and forth each week type of season where down 1, get a win back, down 1, get a win back, and that's where we're at right now at 3-3.
But you have an opportunity here coming up, Bloomington South this week. Should be a good ball game.
Oh, I think it will be. You know, if you look at our ball games with the Panthers over the years, we've had some great battles with them. We were able to get them on the road last year, but it was a shootout, you know, and it kind of probably could have gone either way. And they're coming off of a big win, knocking off Southport last week, and we've got them right here at Max Anders Field, so it's going to be a big ball game for us.
And a chance, if you can win these last 3, maybe conference championship or co-championship?
Right. Well, you know, coach speak 1 week at a time. So, you know, we'll worry about the Panthers here this week. Yes, we have 3 games left. All 3 are conference games, and all 3 opponents, including ourselves, at this point have 1 conference loss. So you're right, Ted. You know, we do have destiny in our hands, if you will. But, you know, right now it's all about trying to go 1-0 this Friday night.
Let's talk about some of your players. I know that individuals can get overlooked sometimes in football because it's such a team game, but you're starting a sophomore quarterback, you've got a junior running back, you've got a senior that's a leader in Mitchel Collier.
So, yeah, I think we're playing really good team football right now. I don't know that we're a team of stars. You know, maybe our show pony would be Mitchel Collier, our senior, who's, you know, Division I bound. But really, like you said, you know, we're distributing the ball pretty well offensively. We're playing, by and large, really good team defense. Special teams has been rock solid, and you know, just trying to get better each and every week.
Your opponents have really been, I think you've done a great job defensively. I mean, you've been in the games, other than the Avon game, because that one got away early. I mean, obviously that was the first game of the year in Lucas Oil, but the others have all been close ball games.
They have, which adds some stress to a coach's life. You know, we haven't had some of those games the last few years where, you know, we've been able to kind of catch our breath late in the game and let young players play. But we knew that going in. You know, we knew coming into the season this year that probably we weren't as athletic as we had been in some years in the past, and had some newcomers coming into key positions. But there's more than one different way to win a football game. And, you know, I think you kind of alluded to staying in the game, playing good, solid defense, with which all 3 of our victories, I think that was certainly the case. You know, obviously we had just enough in offense and special teams, but defense has carried us at times. But on the flip side of that, you know, when we haven't been successful, we've given up too many points, and I coach defense, so maybe I'm going to be a little more critical of the defense at times. But, you know, that's what's very important to me personally.
Hey, Coach, real quick, we had talked about this a couple of days ago when I asked you to be on the show. Obviously, losing sucks, so you don't want to lose, but you've lost some games. But do you want to? Do you really want to peak coming up on sectionals? I mean, is that what you're looking for? I mean, obviously you want to win every game, but if you're not, you're going to lose the games that you need to lose, and you're going to win the games you need to win.
Yeah, you know, football's a little bit different animal because you only play once a week, you know, and it's every Friday night, and every week is kind of Groundhog Day, which fits me and my personality. But, you know, you look at our season, obviously we have a huge football game week 2, and both teams are geared up for that game. And then we get into our conference season, and where we're at, a conference championship is very important to us, and it's something that we strive for. And then kind of that next season is the tournament season, and 6A football is quite a challenge. So realistically, the opportunity to make a deep run in 6A is going to be pretty tough. Certainly this year, while we're maybe not as talented as we've been in the last few years, I'm not discounting the tournament by any means. But right now our focus is on Conference Indiana.
Right, and I think before you go to a break, Ted, I think it's important for everybody to know that although you don't think this, Columbus North is one of the smallest 6A schools in the state. You don't think like that though, and I know that.
Right.
But still, I mean, to like you said, to get deep into and never move out of 6A, because you never have, and quite honestly, I don't think you want to. But I mean, it works out to where you guys play great football, but there's others out there in 6A. It's got to be tough.
We don't have the infrastructure that the 6A programs have, and it starts with numbers. It starts with enrollment. If you combine both schools in this town, we would come in at like the 8th biggest school in the state.
Right.
And that's combining the two schools, and that's, the class that we compete in and year out. But it is what it is, and circumstance be darned, we're going to line up and play the best football we can play each and every Friday night, and be the best we can with who we have.
And to back to the conference standpoint, Columbus North is right in the middle of the conference as far as enrollment, I do believe, right?
Yeah, we are. We fit within our conference, and it's a very competitive conference. And you look at our conference scores, you look at our conference standings. We ran the table last year, and we're undefeated in the conference and conference champions. But that hadn't been done in a while, and we hadn't done that in a while. And then you look at it this year already, and we've got a lot of conference games yet to play. There's not an undefeated team in conference play. So, I think that speaks to what you're saying. It's a very competitive conference.
It really is, and you've done a great job with it over the years. We're going to take a short break. We'll come back and talk more with head coach Tim Bless here from Mitchel's Smiling Teeth. Welcome back to Mitchel's. Glad you're joining us here for the Columbus Sports Corner. Tonight we're talking Columbus North football with head football coach Tim Bless. Tim, again, you've got some conference games coming up, and maybe your roster isn't quite as senior dominated as it has been in the past, and that's a bit of a challenge.
It is a challenge in the schedule that we play, without a doubt. We knew coming into the year that quarterback was going to be a spot we lost. Who we thought was going to be our varsity quarterback moved away Memorial Day weekend. So we spent.
It wasn't Andrew Luck, was it?
No, it was not. So going into the year, we had grabbed senior Hunter Huser, who had been a quarterback as a freshman,
right,
and played quarterback for us through the summer, but. Really, it made us weaker in other spots. Hunter's a returning starter, defensive back, a returning starter, a wide receiver is a key return man. And as a quarterback, you can't really do those things. And we didn't want to put too much pressure on a young sophomore who had a nice freshman year in Luke Hammons, and didn't really think, we wanted to put him in the fire coming into the year. Well, as it turned out, he was playing great in practice, and it gave us the opportunity to take a look at that. And he was getting more reps, as practices were unfolding through the preseason and through week 1, and decided to go ahead and pull that string week 2. And Luke had a great performance against Columbus East, and you talk about the pressure of that environment with everybody in Columbus at that game and so forth. But I think Luke will be the first to tell you he's had some up and down moments, which we expected a sophomore was going to have. But it is what it is.
And I think the real key. As a fan, just sitting back, was to see Hunter be able to contribute in the ways that he already has in the past.
You're right. That's huge. I think a burden was lifted off of Hunter. He was playing quarterback out of obligation because he's a great team first player. He's a team captain and just a yes sir, no sir type of kid. But he was out of his element, and now he's back in his wheelhouse. He had a huge game last week, shutting down their best wide receiver, and is making plays on both sides of the ball. And that was circling back to that Columbus East game. That was really a fun deal where Luke hit a bomb to Huser for a big touchdown, and okay, that's Hunter back doing his thing as a wide receiver and being an athlete running around all over the field.
And that was a key moment in that ball game as well. I mean, to give you guys the lead like that, just a great thing against Columbus East. Sorry, Olympians.
It was a huge moment in the game. I think it was a momentum swinging type play, and not that it sealed the game, because it ended up being a battle down to the fourth quarter. But it was certainly a huge play for us at that point in the football game.
I think you guys did a great job just forgetting about what happened at the Hoosier Dome at Lucas Oil.
You're dating yourself, Dean.
I know, it's terrible. But you guys just forgot about it. Came out, played great ball.
I love our kids because we've got a great group of kids. I mean, they're wonderful young men who come out and work hard every day. Like you said, had amnesia there, and then we had a lot of football yet to play. Even though we got hammered pretty good week one on the big stage, our kids bounce back, and that's senior leadership. That's just good kids, and that's my coaches did a great job just moving forward and knowing how big week two was for us and for this community to be able to bounce back, put together a great game plan, and the kids worked hard learning that game plan and executed it tremendously on that Friday night, week two.
Let's talk about real quick. Let's touch base. You're a football family. You got two brothers. You're youngest of three, and all football coaches. There's got to be some competitive edges there, but it seems like that you guys, all three of you, are kind of just dug in. I mean, let's touch on your winning record here, or how many wins you have here. You surpassed Max Anders a long time ago, so we'll get something named after you, I'm sure. but anyway, talk about tradition and talk about football tradition in your family.
Yeah, well, it's a family business, as you know, Dean, and it starts with our dad, Bill Bless. He was a high school coach in the 60s, became the head coach at his alma mater, University of Indianapolis, in, I believe, 1972, and was there for 22 years as the head coach. All three of us Bless boys played for our dad collegiately, so that was a dream come true. We grew up on the sidelines of the UIndy games, being ball boys, watching dad's teams play. I knew that I had the rosters memorized, from the time I was a little Tycon forward. So, it's what we know, and it's who we are. And being able to see the impact our father had, on young men was huge. And when it came down to it, either we weren't smart enough to do anything else, or, just realized that it's what, it's who we are.
And you guys are happy with the high school. I mean,
yeah, Brother Scott had a short stint at the collegiate level. He actually kind of an interesting cycle. He was my defensive coordinator my senior year in college. Now, he was only 26 or something like that, so he was a pretty young coordinator.
Right.
And then ended up moving out to Oregon, got back into high school coaching at that point. But Mark and I, we both kind of, felt, I don't know, the niche for us to have the most impact was at the high school level. And I think, you talk to a lot of people, it's a special time because, you're taking 14-year-olds and you're with them until they're 18, and really in that, you're trying to transfer them into, boys to men,
right?
And teaching life lessons as we go. Obviously, the football part of it is tremendously important, and we take it seriously. But in the big picture, it's about trying to, take these young men and make them better. So that they can, take life lessons from this greatest game ever made and carry it forward with them in college and as husbands and as fathers and as employers, etc.
It's got to be a different bird, though, going from high school to college. I'm going to drop a name here because I went to high school with Tom Allen, and it was his dad was a coach at Newcastle, and for him going from Ben Davis to it's got to be, I can't even fathom that. Can you?
Yeah, I know Tom well, and we're friends, and he's a great guy, and I have all the respect for him, and I'm so proud of what he's accomplished. Because he was a contemporary of mine. We were both defensive coordinators in the state in the '90s, and then became head coaches and so forth. And then he decided he was resolute to take the college route, and you look what his route took him to. I forget, he's told me before, how many states and how many years, before he landed the IU head coaching job, and it's a circuitous journey. And
he was like at a little school, wasn't he? Like Benton somewhere, some obscure school, and then he went to Ben Davis, and then that's just crazy, man.
Yeah,
that's I think that's the equal of Brad Stevens going from Butler to the Celtics. I mean, it's just such a big jump and everything. Well, hey, let's give us a brief synopsis on your quarterback. We're getting ready to have him on. Talk to us about him, and then we'll go to a break.
Yeah, Luke's got a toughness about him. We're at times trying to tone that down because he wants to play like a linebacker and wants to run people over when he gets the ball in his hands. He's got a really good arm. He definitely has a 6A arm. We're just continuing to work on him as read progressions and learning what Friday night football is all about. I think he showed a big step in confidence this past Friday night. Completed some big passes. He was 8 of 11 throwing, so his percentage was incredible, and moved the chains for us on some key third downs over at Terre Haute, the integral part of our success. So we're looking forward to him getting that traction and moving forward this coming week against the Panthers.
Coach, he is a sophomore. Has that led you to cut back the playbook a little bit, or and just focus on certain things, or does he have the whole playbook in front of him?
We have simplified things, and it's not just because of Luke. I think going into, and we've got a new offensive coordinator this year, so everything's new for everybody, and I think to a degree we talked as a coaching staff early season that we're trying to throw too much at these kids. It's one thing what we as coaches can formulate on a whiteboard or we can process and decide it's doable. It's another thing to get 11 kids on the same page to be able to complete. So we did back off, but it's not at all entirely because of the sophomore quarterback. I just think we were trying to do too much with our offense, and I think we've moved the ball more efficiently once we have backed off.
Do well what you do well. You just don't have to do a whole bunch of different things.
True. That old adage, keep it simple, stupid. And this head guy is certainly the stupid one. So we can't get too complex.
Talk about a little bit, if you will, how technology has changed things from when you were playing to now with the kids today.
So I wasn't quite in the leather helmet era, but it's been a long time since I played the greatest game ever made. And back in our day, everything was VHS tapes. In my early years here at Columbus North, we'll laugh because I've got a handful of coaches that have been with me. This is now my 20th season, and I've got a handful of coaches that have been with me all 20 years. And we used to have these towers of, Dean, you can probably appreciate this, of these VHS tapes, where we would play one, record, and every Monday we'd pass out to all of our defensive starters a recycled VHS tape, which had probably been recorded over so many times you couldn't even see what was on it. But that's how we expected our kids to watch film.
We go back to McKay. I mean, we put McKay on and those teams on, and it was crazy, man. And it was all VHS, and it was all right. They just ate it up and everything.
Yeah. So now everything's in the cloud, and you're watching it on your phone, you're watching it on your iPad, you're watching it on your computer, and it's instantaneous. So I mean, we're watching film of Friday night's game on the bus ride home from Terre Haute. I mean, that's so obviously things have changed, but in between the white lines, things are still pretty similar, and it's just how you prep for it is a little bit different. We don't have old school playbooks and hard copies and so forth, but you've also got to meet these young people where they're at, and they're technology driven, and if you try to give them a spiral bound notebook, they're going to look at that thing like, what is this? So that's you've got to meet them where they're at from a learning perspective.
Coach Tim Bless of the Columbus North Bulldogs. Thank you very much, Coach, and best of luck, not only against Bloomington South, but also Bloomington North and Terre Haute.
Very good. My pleasure. Thank you.
All right. We'll be back in a minute. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Columbus Sports Corner here down at Bachetto's at the corner of 4th and Washington. Glad you're joining us. I'm Ted Rutan, producer Dean O'Neill, and we are now joined by the sophomore quarterback of the Columbus North Bulldogs, Luke Hammons. Luke, glad you're joining us.
Glad to be here.
As a sophomore, getting a chance to be the quarterback, that's a pretty neat deal. Did you anticipate that going into the year, or was that something that you certainly were obviously trying to become the quarterback, right?
Yeah, it was certainly my goal this whole year, the whole summer. But I wasn't expecting to be the starting quarterback for varsity this year. But when they called my name, I was ready. So
this summer, how were workouts? Did you do a lot of the 7-on-7?
yeah, I did a lot of 7-on-7, but with the JV reps, I was behind Hunter Huser all summer.
So what at what point, Luke, did you and Bless have a meeting? I mean, did he meet with you? Did he say, "Hey, you're my guy"? How'd it go down?
It was after the Avon JV game. I was called into his office, and he was like, "You're starting against East," and I was like, "Okay."
Well, that's good.
Thanks, man.
That's pretty good stuff, though. You didn't have to face Avon, and then you get a chance to make your first start against your crosstown rival.
Yeah, I was pretty excited for it. A little nervous, but knew I had to step up for it.
Now, playing against Columbus East, you obviously know a lot of their players.
Yeah.
So how did that make you feel playing against guys you know?
I mean, it was weird because they're all older than me, so I didn't really personally know them. They're a little surprised to see me out there instead of Hunter, but yeah, it's fun playing with your friends across town. Make bets before the game.
Well, absolutely. The East-North rivalry, pretty close over the years.
Yeah, what do you think?
I have to say that.
Oh yeah. Ted, he's a transplant
I
of some sort. Don't mind him. He used to go to East and he can't figure it out. So he's torn. He's in conflict all the time. So what? Tell me. Let's talk about the East game then. It was, your first game. That's what we talk about. When since the East game, has the game gotten faster or slower? Has it slowed down for you, or is it still faster?
I'd say probably it's slowed down a little bit. I definitely getting some used to. JV was much easier than varsity. Games played much faster at the varsity level. East was a good team, but we went the next week going against Southport. They played a little faster, but it's just all been a learning experience.
Now, Luke, have you always played quarterback growing up?
Well, my first year, I played tight end, and then after that, I was quarterback and receiver until about freshman year. I focused on quarterback.
And you always had a good arm because I know you like to play baseball.
Yeah, I used to play baseball.
So, that you obviously had a pretty good arm to be able to do that.
Yeah, basically back in the day, it was always if you could throw the ball, you're playing quarterback. So.
Good deal. Well, Coach says you got a Friday night arm, so that's a good thing, man. Yeah. I think he would know. So.
Coming up this week, you've got Bloomington South. Do you know anything about them yet? I realize you just got your win this past Friday, and today, Monday practice. Did you focus on Bloomington South at all, or is a Monday practice more, let's get everybody back from the game and get ready for
Monday practice is focused on the next week. Terre Haute's in the past. We're on to Bloomington South now. Bloomington South, they have a good defense, but nothing we can't handle. We should be a good game, good matchup.
Always a big conference game. Seems like over the years it's been a lot of Columbus North, Bloomington South, and Southport fighting it out for the conference championship, and you guys are right in the middle of it again this year.
Yeah, we got glad to get a second shot at conference after Southport losing last week, so I feel like we have to take advantage of this opportunity we've got.
What are you thinking when you're going into a game like, I'm going to really look for the tight ends, or I'm going to look for the wide receivers, or is there any thought like that, or is it just focusing on the overall game plan?
I'm just focused on the game plan. Do my 1/11th of the team. Just manage the game as best I can. Lean on Mitch and Blake, and just stay with the game plan mostly.
Well, Luke, it's a responsible position to be the quarterback as a sophomore, and not many can do it that well, and you've done a great job of it. So best of luck the rest of the season, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with more of the Columbus Sports Corner here in a moment. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the Columbus Sports Corner here at Mitchel's, downtown Columbus. We're talking Columbus North Bulldogs football, and tonight we are now joined by Mitchel Collier. Mitchel, thanks for coming in and chatting with us a little bit.
Definitely, thanks for having me.
You're a senior captain and leader of this football team. I know you played quite a bit as a sophomore and junior as well, but what responsibilities do you feel as a senior and a captain?
Yeah, I've just kind of, throughout the 4 years I've been playing, always looking up to the older kids and stuff like that. Just kind of helped me learn how to lead the younger kids and just kind of take a leadership role. So I definitely think I'm pretty prepared for it. So,
well, you've had the same coach for 4 years, and I would think that means that you need to try to pass along what you've learned from him and help guide the younger kids, like you have a sophomore quarterback. We just spoke with Luke, and to be able to be a leader for them.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I leave a lot of the coaching stuff up to the coaches because we have a really, really good coaching staff, and I more just kind of like to take the kids after they get the talking from coach and stuff like that, and just kind of calm them down and ease the nerves and stuff like that. Just because I know what it's like to play in a big game at a young age.
You were able to beat Columbus East this year. That has to be a great feeling, knowing that you beat the Olympians in your senior year.
Oh yeah, it's good to get a four-peat. Definitely, it was.
Now this year, there's a possibility you may face them again.
Yep, I would say there's a pretty good possibility we face them again in sectionals. So that'll be a good game. They're always a good tournament team, so should be a good test, and I'd be excited to play them.
I gotta ask you. You had your rookie quarterback last game. Did you have anything to say to him? I mean, did you guys talk as a captain? Did you say settle down, or did you say, hey, don't mess up, or what?
Yeah, because freshman year I just got pulled up and played a little varsity, and I played in a little bit in the East game, and I remember going in there and I was just it was just crazy seeing all that. Was really I've been to some East games, but just being on the field and feeling the atmosphere and stuff like that, and when stuff happens, people are yelling and screaming, the turf is really just shaking. You can just feel the people yelling. I was just calm down. It's just football. Just do your thing. You got the skills and ability, and just kind of relax and just play some ball.
You've got some conference games still coming up here in the regular season. A chance to go after a conference championship starting this Friday with Bloomington South.
Yeah, it was a real big relief that B South beat Southport after we let that one slip away, and so it was good to be back in the conference run, and it's a good little boost of energy and enthusiasm to the team. So.
Well, and that keeps you focused week to week. I mean, again, you're just one game this week, but still 3 conference games, so you kind of control your own destiny there in the conference.
Yeah, that's a good feeling. Is if we just win out, we'll at least tie for conference, if not win right out conference champs. So it's just kind of like I said, just kind of a enthusiasm, brings the team up and stuff like that. So
tell me, when conference games, when you're playing conference games, you're a senior. And you've grown up with a lot of these guys in the conference, and you've played against them, obviously 4 years in a row. Are there any guys that you've got their number, and are there any guys that got your number? I mean, is it like that?
Yeah, I try not to make personal battles. I just more kind of a team thing, because we do play them every year, and I would definitely say, me and James Bombay, the tight end for B South, we have a pretty good relationship. So we can kind of talk it up a little bit before the game and stuff like that, but nothing too personal or a big rivalry or stuff like that. So normally just try to play the game and let the scores do the talking.
Mitchel, you are going to be at Chippewa next year. Tell us about that a little bit.
Yeah, it was a big relief. I've been wanting to play college ball since I started playing, and kind of been a dream. So it was a big relief, and it was just an awesome opportunity. And I thank Coach B and all the coaching staff and everything else like that for kind of molding me to the player I am. So
Central Michigan in Mount Pleasant, I believe. And what made you decide on Central Michigan?
Yeah, we went up there for a camp, and I like the coaching staff. Coach Tavita is their tight end coach, and Coach McElwain, he was the head coach of Florida for a little bit. Their whole coaching staff just kind of reminds me of my coaching staff, Coach B, Coach Carr, Sharp, and all of them.
But there's only one blessed, by the way, so you can't,
Yeah, so it was exactly never gonna get another Coach B, right? But no, it felt like a home. The campus is really nice. I'm wanting to study business, and they got a good business school. And so they got a new, fresh program coming in. He's in his first year, so it just felt like a good fit.
Well, best of luck in Central Michigan, and best of luck for the rest of the year with the Columbus North Bulldogs.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All right. Thank you, Mitchel Collier. We'll take a short break. We'll be back with more from Bachetto's in downtown Columbus. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Bachetto's, downtown Columbus. We have the Columbus Sports Corner. I'm Ted Rutan, our producer, Dean O'Neill, and we are now joined by the junior running back for the Columbus North Bulldogs, Blake Huffman. Blake, thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
You guys have had a 3-3 record to start things off, but a big win earlier this year against Columbus East. How did that feel for you?
That was the biggest, most fun thing I've ever been a part of. Just after the game, the stress relief and just the kind of sit there and you get to go, because you finally did it. And it was a blast.
There were a lot of points scored in that game, and you put up a lot of numbers yourself.
I did okay that game, yeah.
You've got a pretty good offensive line. Talk about your offensive line a little bit, because those guys in the trenches don't get some of the recognition.
They really don't. They don't get enough at all. I mean, I've got an outstanding offensive line, and they've put some holes through there, and they've had some really nice blocks this season. And I'm very grateful for them.
Do you let them know every once in a while, hey, thanks?
Oh, all the time.
Okay.
All the time. We have a fat man dinner at somebody hosts it every other week.
Right.
But I usually try and host a fat man dinner every year for him. So.
Well, good. Yeah. Heck yes, you better take care of those offensive linemen, right?
Yeah, I can't be like Tom Brady and give him the watches, but I'll do something about it.
He had to bring Tom Brady into
bring
this,
up
didn't he?
Tom Brady.
Oh, man.
No Patriots love over here.
Exactly. Let's talk about East a little bit. Man, you were a machine. I mean, you at what point was adrenaline, and what point was just pure, I want to get this done.
I mean, at the beginning of the game, it's obviously your adrenaline's up because, it's the East game and you can't be down for it. But probably like third quarter, fourth quarter, it was just give me the rock. And like between plays, you feel like garbage and you're out of breath. But once the whistle blows and this ball snapped, you don't think about anything. And it's a thing that you got to do, and you got to get a job done, and you do it. So.
And is it really, you're a junior now, and I didn't ask this to Mitchell, but is there really a home field advantage at this game? There really isn't.
Yes and no. It's always nice playing at the Max because, home field's nice, but knowing that we got hundreds of people rooting for us at the same time, it's crazy. The atmosphere is insane, so.
It always is good as a player, I would think, when you're playing in front of a full house. That's a big deal, right?
Oh, it's a huge deal. And, our fan base at Columbus is awesome, and they do a good job of even traveling some games. So it's a blessing for them, yeah.
Although last week the travel was to Terre Haute.
Yeah.
How was that in your preparation? That's such a long drive over there to get ready for that game.
Oh, yeah. You really got to have a mindset the whole 2-hour bus ride, and I feel like the bus ride's almost harder than the game, just because it's such a mental thing, and for people who aren't mentally strong and they don't mentally prepare that well, it can throw off your game. So.
Well, you guys had a good win last week. What do you know about Bloomington South coming up this week?
I know they're very physical. Their linebackers and their D-line flow very hard to the ball, and they've got their whole entire defense is returning starters, so they're going to be good. But
well, you got your work cut out for you. You better make sure you get the line a good fat man dinner this week.
No kidding, I will do that.
All right. Thanks you so much, Blake Huffman, for joining us, and best of luck against Bloomington South and the rest of the season.
All right, thank you very much for having me.
All right, we'll take a short break. We'll be back with Athletic Director Jeff Hester here in a moment. Welcome back to the Columbus Sports Corner here at Mitchel's. We are now joined by Athletic Director Jeff Hester. And Jeff, we've already talked a lot of football, but you've got a lot of other things going on at North. And let's start off by saying how great the golf team has done.
Actually, let me interrupt. Real quick. You got to know something about Jeff. You know, Ted, we've been doing this. How many years have we been doing this, Ted? Seriously, how many years? Way before him, back when Steer was athletic director.
Well, yeah, since 1980s.
Right. You got to know that everybody's got to know right now that this is Jeff Hester's program. I mean, it is an amazing program, and he has done. I mean, it's amazing. And you know, I come to his office once a year and say, "Hey, we want to do this and want to do that," and he lets us do it, and we have no problems with Columbus North and. It's just amazing. So I mean, hats off to you, man. I mean, you've done a great job. So now you can start.
Now I can start by talking about the 6th-ranked golf team who has just won the
Exactly.
sectional and regional. That's where I was going with that. I'm getting there.
I just had to get in there. I had to get that plug in, man. You've done a great job, man.
Well, I appreciate that, Dean. Yeah, so this Friday, Saturday, girls golf state in Carmel just won regional. It's their 8th time winning a regional in school history. Girls are playing great right now, and Coach Sievers does a fantastic job.
They have finished second in the past, but they've never won the state. And yet, you know, it's a 2-day golf tournament. They've got a chance. They're playing very well.
They're playing really well, and you know, now that everybody advances to the second day, you definitely have a shot. There's some really good teams out there, but we'll be right in the mix.
Coach Sievers has done a great job taking over because how long has he been the head coach?
Coach Cooper was
That's right.
prior to Sievers, and I think this is now Scott's maybe
Fifth or sixth
year maybe.
And he's done a great job with them. They've done well over the years, but to qualify and win the regional, though, and they won it comfortably.
Yeah, I was not able to be there. I was at cross country, and I was texting with Coach, and I, said, "Well, where are we at right now?" And he just said it's going to be close. And then I saw, the final score, and I said, "What do you consider close?"
Yeah.
They did well.
They didn't have to make the putt on the 18th hole to win it. Right. They had a couple that they could put in. But really, the girls golf program has done well over the years. You've had some stars over the years. But talk about Manicha. Mm-hmm. She's just playing outstanding. Had a 70 in the regional.
She's just so consistent and steady. And if she ever hits a bad ball, she makes up for it and just doesn't get rattled. She's just fantastic. We're glad she's a Bulldog.
Absolutely. And so we talked about the girls golf team ranked number 6, but also now the boys tennis team. Mm-hmm. They are 13-0 undefeated, ranked 3rd in the state.
Yeah, I'll tell you, and this is actually the first time in school history we've been undefeated, and which just says a lot because we've had some great teams in the past. And they're just solid from 1 through 7, the top 7 players. Adam Sod at number 3 singles has just been lights out, just with 1 loss this season. But they're playing really well. The sectional draw was just tonight, which starts Wednesday. I haven't been able to find out who we drew yet.
That's what I was. I knew that it starts Wednesday, so I didn't know who you have to start things off with. But then, if I hate to put the cart before the horse, but if they do win the sectional, do they go to the Floyd Central Regional?
That'd be the Bloomington South.
Bloomington South Regional.
Yeah.
But Floyd Central would be coming there?
We would, yeah. So it's going to be the regional is definitely not going to be something that's just going to be expected to win because
Right.
Floyd Central and then obviously Bloomington South. They've had some injuries, so they have not been at full strength. So we're kind of anxious to see what lineup they're going to be throwing at us.
Well, again, what a great job. We're talking about ranked 3rd in the state, ranked 6th in the state with the girls golf team. The girls soccer program.
Yeah.
They're ranked 14th in the state.
Yeah, they're playing well. Had first match of the year with Center Grove, lost that, and then they just went on a streak of just playing well, and then just lost a tough one with East Central the other night. But Coach Young is first year with us, and he's just just a fantastic individual, number one, and just gets the most out of the girls. It's been a lot of fun watching this team.
And they open up sectional play against Whiteland on October 8th. That's next Wednesday, I believe.
Yeah, first game, and then if we're able to get past that, we would more than likely see Center Grove.
And they're ranked in the top 10 in the state as well.
Yes, yeah.
So that'll be a
And-
tough match.
Yeah, and they're the host school, so we'll have to be going there, playing them at their home field. It'll be a tough challenge if we get there.
Talking about who hosts the sectional, how does that all work in the different sports? Because in tennis, you're hosting the sectional. In football, I know it just depends on who's playing which game. You won't necessarily host.
Yeah, we won't know until the draw.
In the other sports, though, Center Grove has the girls sectional. Who has the boys sectional?
Boys this year's a Floyd Central.
That's at Floyd Central. Oh, Center Grove and Floyd Central. Now, is it a different group of schools in the sectional for boys and girls?
Yeah, this year it is, and the way it's decided on who gets to host, it's a rotation, and the athletic directors of all the schools involved, we meet and we kind of go through of the rotation. Some schools aren't able to host, maybe due to facility issue
Right.
or different things, and then Pete Hughes and I are looking forward to hosting in the future with our new soccer complex we'll be getting.
And talk about that soccer complex a little bit, because Columbus has been a hotbed of soccer for all these years.
Yeah.
And I know that getting a new facility is going to be a special thing.
Yeah, I'm really excited, for the kids and coaches. It just has a lot of the necessities that you need when you have a facility that's not on your campus. Just things that you might not think about. Just locker rooms,
Restrooms, concession stands,
lining the, just
an air conditioned and
Exactly.
heated media. Yeah.
I think you requested leather seats.
Yeah,
too, right?
exactly. No, but really a big thing to have a new facility for both North and East.
Absolutely, and it's going to be state of the art. And like I said, when you have a facility that's off campus, the kids need a place to change. Coaches need a place to after work to change, and just if there's weather issues, now we have somewhere where kids can go.
Right.
We just never really had that in the past, so it's going to be an artificial turf field. So as far as cancellations due to weather, it more than likely won't happen now.
Now, will that change? Speaking of that, does that change the style of play? Because playing on turf, when I have seen Columbus North play at the Max Andrus Field, that's different than at the Richard White Stadium.
Yeah, it's a lot different. Number one, at our field at the school, it's a little smaller than what the soccer folks would prefer, but it's a much quicker game. The ball is going a lot faster than it does on natural grass, and you get a pure bounce.
Right.
But the ball can really fly on that field. So the plan is, we'll be looking at a lot of different artificial fields, and the goal is to get a blade that's going to be taller, in length than what we would have at our football field.
Now, the soccer opponents that you have, most of them are on artificial surfaces as well now?
Yeah, it's definitely trending that way. The IHSA really prefers that anyone who's hosting a tournament that it is on artificial. an artificial surface because they want to make sure those games get in and you're not canceling, due to rain and such.
And if you have a slow team, you're not out there mudding down the field,
Right.
like they used to do in New England.
Jeff, you've worked really, really hard to build this program, this athletic program, and you've hired all the coaches are yours now. You've went through some coaches. Is it getting easier to find coaches? Okay, if coaches have moved on or move up or something like that, it's getting easier because of the program you built, right? I mean.
I wish I could say it was easier. It's actually much harder than it was when I started.
Really?
A lot of people aren't going into coaching like they used to. We're having a tough time getting teachers. You'd be surprised at
really,
how many people are going who are not going into education and coaching. So we have a large percentage of lay coaches, and coaches who are not teachers, and it's about 60% of our head coaches are not teachers. So it's actually getting a lot harder, even though you have you build a great program and you feel like you have a really good brand.
Right.
It's tough.
Right.
But it's not like you have an unlimited budget either.
No.
For coaches, and to get someone to coach when they're not teachers, that has to be a tough thing.
Well, it's tough, and now with some of the new IHSA rules, where we're going year round with with the limited contact. For example, now out of season teams can practice for 4 hours a week.
Right.
Well, our coaches didn't get a pay raise for that.
Right.
But it's something that.
But they have to do it, or else you fall behind.
Yeah, yeah.
That's right.
It's all about
Yeah.
winning, and that's the way it is. I mean,
Yeah, so it takes a real special individual who wants to say, I definitely want to coach. I want to endure the pressure at the varsity level, especially at a successful school, and then some of the challenges that can pop up being a head coach with, administrative duties.
Right.
Possibly, maybe a parent or two who may not be happy with you.
That happens.
So there's just a lot, and it's tougher now to be a coach than ever. It's a lot of it. They're so accessible now, and just the demands keep getting higher and higher. That right now, I recently read an article. The average varsity coach right now lasts 3 years.
Wow.
And then they get out.
That's
so
amazing.
it's and I've when Coach Weinheimer retired from cross country, I remember telling him, I said, I will be surprised if the next coach or coaches we bring in will be here for over 30 years.
Yeah, it's got to be. That's crazy.
Yeah, it is a different era. I mean, used to, a lot of the coaches were also the teachers. They did it because they love coaching and teaching. But it's just it's a harder thing to get people to coach because it does take a lot of time.
There's a lot more than just what people see.
I think I'd like to wrap up on this. I want to get your thoughts on being an athletic director for a venue like Memorial Gymnasium. And the reason why I ask this question is because you will get arguments on class basketball, and I'm not going to start that because we only got 3-4 minutes left, so that's a whole hour, really. But they're saying that, they've made more money than they ever have. But then you have these gyms that are only good for one thing, really, and that's basketball. How have you managed to deal with having a great gymnasium underneath you or over your head?
Well, there's not a day that goes by when I walk through Memorial Gym. I know it's a special place. And it was built for one thing. That was for hosting basketball games.
Right.
As awesome as that gym is, though, there's challenges, right? I mean, it's not a great practice facility.
No.
The bleachers up top are permanent, so we don't have extra courts upstairs that most schools would have. So there's definitely some challenges, but it kind of is worth it when you have a game.
Right.
Yeah, and if you can host you can host a sectional and a regional.
Yeah.
And quite honestly, and this is just me being on my soapbox, and this is great because we can end it like this. I mean, Memorial Gymnasium, Seymour, Newcastle, the Wigwam, if it was in good shape, all these mecca gyms should be a part of the tournament.
Yeah.
If they're going to have if we're just going down this rabbit hole, but anyway, if they're going to have class basketball, I think these gyms should be a part of it every year, and they're not. And so I just want to get your take on just being the athletic director of Memorial Gymnasium. That's going to be great.
I voiced my opinion with IHSA. I believe we should be the permanent site for basketball sectionals, strictly because we have the best gym.
Yes.
And we're centrally located.
Yes.
So it's, and I think my staff and I think we do a good job hosting those tournaments.
No doubt about that. No doubt about that. I always think that when I go to Columbus North games that you're treated, you're just treated better than when we go to other venues.
Right.
And I think that's a tribute to you and your staff.
Yeah, well, I've been able to surround myself with a lot of good people, and Cindy McCoy, Wayne Roberts, Coach Bless, Bev Addis. They're great.
And you do a great job with the food too.
Exactly. Number one, yeah.
Got to have the hospitality room.
Hospitality room. Number one hospitality room.
That's kudos to Paulie here at Mitchel, because
absolutely
he helps us so much, and I mean he's one of the best in the business.
Right.
And you are too. Jeff Hester, the athletic director for Columbus North. Hey, you've got a great fall program going. We had ranked teams in golf, tennis, soccer. Didn't even get a chance to talk about the cross country coming up, and they've always had such a fantastic program.
Yeah, our girls currently are ranked 5th, and our boys are ranked 6th.
That's
and both won conference, and it's going to be fun to watch them as they continue in the state tournament.
And they start off their sectional and regional, I believe, in Brown County?
I'm actually hosting the regional this year, first time
Really?
ever.
Oh, that's great.
Out of Saraland, so that's we're real excited about that.
Oh, great.
That's a great track.
Well, congratulations on getting that taken care of, and best of luck the rest of the fall season.
Hey, join us here. We're going to have more. We're going to have more Columbus North. Hopefully we get Columbus East involved with our little sports corner here. We're going to be off next week because of fall break. I forgot to tell you that. And
Okay.
Jeff, man, thanks for doing our maiden show. And Coach Bless, thanks, man. I mean, it was
Thanks,
fun.
guys, and best of luck this week against Bloomington South.
We gotta find someplace called the Bless though. He said it was the Max. He liked playing at the Max, so we gotta find Bless the Bless. I don't know what it's gonna be, but it might be this place. This could be the Bless. So,
I
take it
appreciate
easy,
having
everybody.
us, guys. Thank you.
All right, that's it. Thanks, Dino. Thanks, Jeff.
Thanks, man.